Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by my guy Nate Weitzer, still out in New Orleans. And we've got player props for you on a Thursday night. 4 games to choose from on the slate tonight. Two pretty fun ones, and then 2 games we're staying away from. But we do have some props from each of these, so definitely want to make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Also, check out the game videos we have up for you today, bringing you 2 game videos and player props each and every weekday this season. Also, head to thelines.com. You can check out all the written stuff we're talking about here on there, and also use our odds finder tool that Nate and I are using every morning as we bring you these props to make sure we're getting the best juice available on all these sports books offering NBA odds this season. Nate, let's go ahead and jump into your first NBA player prop for tonight.
Remember when they were calling Ivica Zubac the white wilt for a couple weeks because of the lines he put up? That's not a thing anymore.
Yeah.
The Clippers cannot defend bigs. They cannot defend the pick and roll. I talk in the game video about some of the huge lines they've given up to big men in their last few games and given up the most points per game to centers over their last 7. Also the 5th most assists per game to centers on the season. So enter the Joker, who has roasted this team to the tune of 29 points and 15 rebounds in his last 6 outings against Zubac and company. I'm going with the points and rebounds. The assists are down against the Clippers, 7.5, like I said. So I don't really want to tack on 10, which is what you need for the entire PRA. But between the points and the rebounds, I mean, he's usually a threat to give you 15 boards. So even if he doesn't get to his points prop, I think this one's going to hit for sure. But last 6 at home, he is scoring a ton, 28.7 points per game. Again, like 15 rebounds and 12 dimes. And that's on a relatively low 29% usage rate. I mean, it's not the same usage it was the last couple of years when he was the only guy out there for the Nuggets in the sense. It's within the team context. But I think tonight, especially if Kawhi and PG both play, the team is going to need to score down low with the big man. They're not going to score as much on the wing. He's going to need to get more make more of an impact with his scoring. And then with LAC, rebounds are going to be pretty easy to come by. They're 29th in their total rebound percentage in their last 3, 21st in field goal shooting on the season. So I think, the points and rebounds here seem very safe for the Joker.
Yeah, I mean, and I really like the rebounds too in a game that I think we expect to have a few more points, as we were talking about an over in that one. I think it's 11.5 right now on DraftKings for him to get over that. It's only minus 120, so a few worse odds there. But if you do like the rebounds, I mean, he's been getting about 14 against Zoo in his last 4 or 5 matchups against the man. So I feel pretty good about him dominating that matchup all over the floor for sure. Second one here, we got to take under on a rook, Paolo Banchero. Definitely loved picking him at the beginning of the season. Knew he would surprise a few people after watching him in Summer League and such. But I think that rookie wall is starting to hit. If you go under that, you get pretty good odds at minus 115 most places for Paolo to go under the 22 points tonight. In his last 7, about 18 a game on 39% from the field. He was shooting much, much better, obviously, than that on the season, closer to about 48 prior to those 7. And then 5 free throw attempts a game is another situation that he's been getting to the free throw line at a really surprising rate. He was setting some pretty nice records actually with the amount that he was like being efficient from all over the floor getting to the line. The only other guys that were getting to the line as much as him as a rookie were like Melo and LeBron and that guy that you were talking about named Wilt. But this is another situation where they're playing Memphis, been the best defense in the league essentially for the last like 10 games or so, and definitely a top 3 defense all season long, especially when they have Triple J. You can kind of look at Paolo, as you kind of pointed out to me. Paolo oftentimes tries to play a little bit like a baby Zion with a jump shot from 15 feet out as opposed to not having one. Not quite the same strength and speed, but like a guy that likes to sort of bowl over and get to the rim. You can expect him to see Triple J waiting for him at the rim as soon as he gets there. Might even just put Dylan Brooks on Paolo, and then as soon as he gets inside the paint, wait for, Triple J's waiting with that incredible timing. Those types of players, power forwards, have struggled against Memphis for a reason. Don't come down low unless you're ready to take the pain that Triple J and Steven Adams are willing to bring you. That's why power forwards on other teams are scoring the fourth fewest amount of points this season against the Grizzlies, and it's just a really bad situation where I would expect Paolo's total, especially with Franz Wagner returning tonight, taking some of that usage from him after a few games out. Like, you would expect Paolo's prop to be a lot closer to like 18.5. So I feel good about the under 22.
Yeah, and Wendell Carter may be off his minutes limit at this point.
Yeah.
So the Magic are back to being a little bit more balanced. And when Franz was out there, you saw some of these weak lines from Paolo. But really, it's more about what Memphis can do defensively. I was trying to convince you that this was a good play. And I think by showing you that Zion's averaging 17 a game in 2 versus Memphis and Triple J this season, that might convince you that, Paolo is not him. In terms, if they can limit him, then they should be able. If they make Paolo the priority and they're up for it on a back-to-back, they should hold him down here tonight. I'm looking at a guy who's just getting buckets and not worrying about much else. Jaylen Brown, 29 points or more in 6 straight, regardless of the situation, because the Celtics have fluctuated wildly. And even though in that game video, we like under for the game, I like over for Jaylen at 26.5 points. Pretty good odds there at FanDuel. I mean, he's averaging 32 points per game in just 33.5 minutes in his last 6 because the C's haven't been in that many competitive games. This one probably will be close throughout. Dallas is probably unlikely to blow them out. And look, he has a 35% usage rate in that span. That's just way up from the last few years. You look at his last 2 in Dallas, he got 27 points per game on just a 29% usage rate. Now it's very much the Celtics leaning on their dynamic duo, and those guys have expanded their game. Jaylen, even though he's not even hitting threes, which is good because Dallas is good at guarding the line at home, I believe he has the best deep mid-range percentage in the league. He's right up there with Durant in terms of his ability to score at that mid-level. And Dallas has no rim protection right now, or ever. So he should be able to get his. I like when the C's are coming off a loss and you need somebody to respond. That Jaylen is that guy. And actually, this 6-game heater started when they were coming off a loss against Minnesota, or 3 straight losses. And we were like, take Jaylen. He's going to get them right. He had 31 against Minnesota, and he's been red hot ever since.
Yeah, first of all, there's some decent opportunities for some game theory and some contrasting parlays, maybe, where if you like Jaylen to score over 27, but you like under 233 for this game, that's got to be a nice parlay. If you like Jaylen over 27 and you like under in the game, then you probably also like under on Jason Tatum. A little scarier because these guys still score like 58 to 60 a game. Just throwing some things that might get you some juice. I also just have my 8th grade AAU basketball coach's words just ringing in my ears when you talk about deep twos. Like, you get pulled immediately if you shoot a 2 from right inside the 3-point line back then. But guys like Jaylen Brown, Chris Paul, Kevin Durant, they all have that green light no matter what. So Jaylen's just on one right now, man. He's playing bully ball too. Just like put somebody on him that isn't as big as he is, and that dude's cooked and toast. So no matter how you put it, I do like Jaylen despite some decent matchups on defense for Dallas. Still, like we said, I think this is a good opportunity to keep riding him. Finishing things off with a guy I don't believe we've talked about this season, the youngster Jabari Smith on those Rockettes. We're talking about 6.5 boards for the long, lanky guy. You get that plus 110 at MGM. Definitely use that odds finder tool to make sure you find out that's where you can get the best juice for it. It's all about if he gets minutes, right? And really, they're playing Utah tonight. Sometimes Utah does run out 3 bigs. That's because Lauri Markkanen and Kelly Olynyk are considered bigs because they're both very tall. But I still think it's a good matchup for him, as Utah is such an awful rebounding team as well. And Jaylen so far versus Dallas he had 32 minutes there, 31 minutes versus Nola over the course of those last 2 games. So with those, that 31 and a half minutes a game that he's been getting as of very recently, he's been putting up 12.5 points and 9 boards in that time. So, if he's going to continue to get the run, continue to show that he deserves the run, I think he continues to get it, right? Especially in a game where Utah, especially on the road, just putrid on defense. They're 20th in terms of allowing field goal percentage, 21st. Or I'm sorry, they're shooting an awful field goal percentage on the road as well. It's just they play at a pretty fast pace. They're 21st in allowing rebounds on the road as well. And they're scoring just 113 a game, missing a ton more shots, as we say, with that awful field goal percentage versus the 121 that they're putting up at home, as we see them, have those like 245 point totals at home. It's not quite the same on the road for this team. So there's going to be opportunities for the Rook to get a few, definitely over 6 boards in this one.
Yeah, I mean, Houston's got to give him a look. A more of a consistent look, like we've seen with the minutes lately. They are starting to be like, number 2 overall pick. Let's see if he could be a consistent force down low. And this is the matchup. Yeah, like you said, if Kelly and Markkanen are both out there, you got to have the right matchups to defend them. And he's a 6'10" versatile defender, which is why he went 2nd overall. So yeah, put him out there, see if he can grab some boards. And Utah much worse offensively on the road.
Yep, we're just fading Utah's interior presence as much as we can. So another big man to take advantage of with a pretty low rebound total for a guy like you said that's going to be getting some minutes in this one, even if there is a blowout. So we'll see. But that is all the time we have for you in our player props today. Make sure to like and subscribe to that page so you can check out the other couple game videos we have up for you as well. And until we see you next, happy betting.